Welcome back to Tech Planet. Today, we'll be diving into the sensitive but significant story that is making waves globally. And that story is centered around the Equatorial Guinean scandal that is involving unauthorized recording and misuse of technology that breaches privacy among top government officials. You see, when we talk about the leak that involved one Mr. Baltasar Engonga, Baltasar Engonga recorded 400 women that he had carnal knowledge with, or they had intimate moments, and the scandal has rocked and it has caused many stir. But outside of the stories around that escapade, there are several lessons to learn. Today, I'm lighting on those essential lessons that we can learn about technology that can be very powerful. At the same time, technology could also be a potential threat. So, what can we learn from that situation? We explore 5 or 6 critical lessons we could learn on privacy, ethics, responsibility that comes from using technology today in our digital world. Stick around today as we'll learn these lessons and how you could actually save yourself, your company, your reputation, and other stuffs online. Don't forget, we are diving deep into this, and you're still listening to Samilite on Tech Planet. Welcome. Technology is such a beautiful thing with the innovations that are coming here and there. We all have smartphones, we have CCTV cameras installed in our offices, in our homes, around public places, and the rest. We have cameras on our phones, we have cameras on our laptops, we have cameras on our palm tops, cameras everywhere. Okay, but let me also say this: cameras could be very nice. People want to take selfies, people want to snap, people want to cover up footages of things that happen. It could also be a very great misuse. It could also be misused, and it can cause disaster. Okay, now what can we learn from this Mr. Ebiang's misuse of technology? Number 1 is to avoid nude pictures in your laptop, on your phones. Yes, somebody may say, but I'm not a porn star. Yes, you may not be a porn star, but you could be very careless with your nude images in your laptops and your cameras. I bought a laptop some years ago, way back almost 10 years ago. For those of us that live in Nigeria, for those students that were sent abroad to study during the days of the amnesty, okay, now those guys that returned from the UK, they were all given laptops as they went on to study. So I bought this laptop from one of those fellows as he returned. He sold this laptop. Now, on one occasion, I was going through the system to see what was in it. I just bought it. So on going through, I saw several footages of this kind of similar events that took place in Equatorial Guinea. And I saw them, they were all in a folder. And this guy wasn't careful to delete these images, and he left them in his folder. So another person bought the laptop, and there are just images. What did I do? I just went on and deleted them. Now, imagine if those images had fallen on in the wrong person's hands. What happens? And sometimes we sell our drives. We scrap our systems, we sell our hard drives, and we're not careful to go through to delete. Probably the system crashed, and for you that is not a tech savvy, that didn't know much about systems, since the system is not coming on, you think maybe the hard disk is the problem, whereas it's not the hard disk, and you have majority of your files on the hard disk, and you feel, well, they're not really really important, and you just go through 4 5 seconds and you take the ones that you think that are important, and probably you forgot the other ones, and they are now in the hands of your wrong trailer. What happens? That could also be a breach of privacy. Persons that are not knowledgeable enough could see those stuffs and decide to leak them. Okay, so it could be a dangerous stuff. Then sometimes it may not be. I've also seen situations where guys send their laptops to repairers, their phones to repairers, and when they're trying to work certain things on their phones, they will come across certain images of themselves. Have you seen people that snap or do coverages on themselves being nude? Have you seen people that do video coverages and do video calls being nude? It happens. Now, as a tech savvy person, as a cybersecurity technician, I've also seen cases. Guys have come to my office complaining about people that are trying to blackmail them. A lady was doing a nude video call with a boyfriend, and not quite 2 days later, the phone still had those images of the call. Two of them, I don't know how they did it. The two guys, nude pictures were there, video footages were there, and all the rubbish they were doing, and the phone was stolen in a gunpoint in the city of Port Harcourt. Now, this phone being stolen, one thing leading to another. A guy picked up the phone, and the next story was the lady called the guy and said, please, this was trying to know what went on. Okay, so what next? The guy called and started blackmailing that he saw these pictures, that he is going to release these pictures if this fellow does not make certain amounts of payment. And a lot of people don't really want to be blackmailed that way. Now, imagine a robber that could rob somebody of his phone and is not threatening to start blackmailing this fellow. What do you think? Those guys do not have conscience anymore. Their sense of reasoning is dead. So that guy can go to any length in making sure that this lady's reputation, the guy's reputation, is ruined to the best of his knowledge if they're not bringing these monies. And the lady was willing to pay. So the story came to my office, and when I got to know the story, I simply advised the guy. I said, if the lady will be willing to do what I'm going to tell her, that the story will just die a natural death. Now, that is on a flip side. Now, come to think of it, while that was done on a single lady, there was another story of a married woman now that was doing a video call with a single man that is not married, and the phone was lost. This one, it wasn't stolen. The phone, the lady misplaced the phone in a cab, and a guy picked it up, and somehow, I know some persons could pick phones and just try to fondle around, search everywhere. No, this guy went through straight to this person's video footages and saw this lady doing a video call with another guy, a single guy, and he knows the lady, that this lady is married. Funny enough, this guy should have as well kept quiet, but he didn't. The next thing the guy did was to use a blackmail formula and call the lady and said she should be giving him 100,000 every month. If not, it's going to leak the story to her husband. And the woman was frightened to her spine, and she was willing to always give this guy 100,000. The story got to my office. I don't want to go through the stories on how I dealt with that. Okay. Then these kind of stories always will definitely repeat. Then as a tech person, there are times we go to do investigations of people when they have issues in their house concerning and they want to know what happens around their home. So they're bringing some tech persons, and as a cybersecurity technician, sometimes we are called upon to assist, to be in the team. And sometimes when you're trying to watch hours and hours of CCTV footages like that, you'll be shocked to know what is happening around people's homes. Okay, some persons are not careful. Sometimes it's amazing, even with warnings. And people have been asked to please install CCTV caution signs here and there in their offices, in their homes, and in hotels, but people are not careful to know those stuffs around those caution signs. So you will see that some of those homes, you will see as if you are practical movies, as if you're watching a porn movie, so those footages could also be leaked by some persons, especially when it has to do with malice, when the fellow involved is not the guy you like, it's not the everyday person you want to like, and they may not be done by one person. These are the things. Sometimes some leakages happen as a result of malice. Okay. Now, somebody visits a home, a popular home, and in a home, sometimes a home could have between 16 and 32 cameras. Okay, in a house, normal house, could have between 16 and 32 cameras. So imagine by the time you put up this stuffs together, you want to know what happened on a particular day. On trying to go through this footage, you'll be shocked to see this kind of images in lobbies, verandas, around the house, in the kitchen. You'll be shocked to see images. So people could decide to leak those images, especially when they have to do with politically exposed people. So be careful with CCTV cameras. And also in hotel rooms, sometimes you see people say they see camera caution that this place is covered. You're being there is CCTV camera surveillance here 247, and some people will still want to be involved in romantic moments in those kind of places, and they could also leak to some leads. Then what is the other side, the advantage of having CCTV camera in your office as an organization? Now, when you watch some of those stuffs, why the country is involved sometimes may be that because they are trying to preserve, or they are trying to warn public officials against the use of some national symbols. Okay, if you see the footages, I didn't have time to watch the footages, no, but some of the symbols and some of the stories and some of the highlights we've gotten is some of them were done in the offices. Okay, read around, you see the stuff that it was done in an office. Okay, imagine the government official in an office that has the flag of the country, has the symbol, the emblem of a particular organization. Take for instance the Nigerian CBN, take for instance the Nigerian EFCC, take for instance the Nigerian Police, Nigerian Army, Navy, or any of those very respected, Nigerian Senate, House of Reps, all these very respected institutions, or that of your country. Imagine a guy doing this kind of stuff in those offices, and those national symbols, or the symbol of a company, mega company, let's say like Total Energy and the rest. Imagine the damning reputational trouble that is going to bring to that company. So for you as an organization that doesn't want this kind of crisis, please, it is advised that you put up CCTV cameras in your office and have the caution sign around. It's going to deter people from behaving in some way that they shouldn't behave in those offices. It is also recommended that when you're installing cameras, you should put on camera caution signs, because you don't want to have nudity around your footages here and there. Now imagine if these guys footage was to be about the flag or the symbol of a big Christian denomination in Nigeria. Oh my God, that would have been something else. So in my opinion, as a tech person, I'm going to advise, if you have a big brand, if you have a church, you are a pastor, you are a CEO, you are an MD of a company, of an organization, please install CCTV cameras in offices and put up the caution signs. Now, so that in case what this guy did and is doing these recordings with his amateur phone, your CCTV camera can pick it, and security could up to avert some of the dangers, because when the stories will be leaked, when the feedbacks will come, imagine the church or the logo of a big Pentecostal or big Anglican denomination or Catholic denomination or Baptist denomination or whatever denomination in church today in Nigeria. Imagine their church flag, their logo, their office like that, and those kind of footages. Imagine what is going to happen. It's going to go viral. Imagine what happened with the story, the testimonies around Paul Enenche's church. A lady gave testimony, or the story around the chosen, what happened around the testimony, viral videos and the rest. Imagine that this was done by somebody in those offices. Oh my God, the stuff would have been different. So I'm going to advise, as a tech person, I'm going to advise every office holder, every company, MD, CEO, general overseer, please install CCTV cameras in your church office, in your company office, in wherever business you run, in the office that you don't want your symbol to be desecrated. Please install cameras and please put on caution signs for people that travel. There are hotel lobbies where they put on those signs, and some guys would not bother. Those footages can also be of damning problem to some persons. Avoid and please be careful. And sometimes when you travel, there are places where they ask people if you are married, so that they allow you use rooms that are for married people because of the positioning of their cameras for security. You won't blame people. Right now, hotel rooms have cameras because you never can tell if someone is coming into your hotel room to prime bombs. So if you are a single guy and you are in that hotel and they want to make sure that you are covered to know what you're doing, and they only exempt the coverage to certain places, they tilt the camera to one part to allow certain areas alone of your body to be covered. And imagine what will happen when certain things go on. And leaks are here and there. When we talk about Equatorial Guinea, we should also think about what else is going on the ground, the ones that have not been discovered in Nigeria or in any other country. Soon as they'll begin to pop up. And sometimes these leaks could also happen as a result of wrong handling. That is where institutional bodies should also be careful. Now, imagine an investigation done on that guy. Now, the investigation is on, and now another thing that is overshadowing the investigation has popped up. The investigation was on financial misappropriation and corruption, and now the story around that investigation is dead because the major story that is too damning is because of this 400 ladies and whatever that has happened. The whole global attention is drawn to Equatorial Guinea because of these ladies, not because of the guy's corruption. They could have just handled this corruption in a minute way, but this story has turned the whole story around completely. So what is the stuff? Those that are in places of authority that should be handling sensitive documents should be careful. Now, we could agree probably that some of these persons agree to the recordings, but now there is a privacy stuff involved. There's a breach of privacy. Okay, fine and good is wrong. Whatever it did on moral grounds, yes, it is wrong. But on the other side, there is also another breach of somebody's right. So who are those people that are handling sensitive materials, sensitive information? The corruption thing is on one side, and now another thing has popped up that is almost making everybody to forget about the corruption, and everybody is hammering on the scandal around what happened. What do you think? Do you think that the handlers did right or they did wrong? What is your thought? I want to hear your comments. If you've been watching, this is Tech Planet, where we discuss technology and people and finance. And not to talk about the importance of reputation. Some people argue that the people agreed. Now, let's think about what are the options available to some of those ladies. Fine and good that they agree to the footage that they should be recorded. Fine and good, okay, that some of them that are probably single, that their footages were leaked. Do you know there's a legal part to that? The lady can sue that organization that leaked those information for privacy breach because she consented. It wasn't for a movie. She could as well sue the guy or sue the institution that did that leakage. These are lessons we can learn from that, and the stuff is endless. I'm only talking about the technology part. Then our phones. People could be very careless with the handling of their phone cameras. Okay, I've had situations where my phone maybe developed a screen problem, and the phone would just be snapping anything. You didn't give it permission, but phone would just be snapping anything. It can happen. It can happen also with your laptop. You could be working, and in your house, probably your laptop snaps anything. Yes. Oh no. As a tech person, I can boldly tell you that sometimes our phones and systems they're on spy mode. Okay, until you discover, but they are actually on spy mode. Virtually every phone today that has an inbuilt battery is a spy phone. That's just what I wanted to understand. So you're only using it that way and just like that. If not, your phone is on a spy mode. Okay, take for instance, Google has this problem with some countries because your Google location is popped on automatically when you didn't give it permission. Why should my movement be tracked? Why is my Google locator automatically coming up when I didn't give it permission? These are all ways in which people are tracked. So our phones are all on auto tracking. Okay, they're all on auto tracking. No matter how you want to say, they're all on auto tracking. That is just a technology mistake of the century, that our phones are on auto tracking. I don't want to talk about that now. My center today, my discussion today is centered around what we could learn from the Equatorial Guinean a bank's problem, and how people could learn lessons around it. Companies, corporate organizations, churches, people that are handling sensitive information, and individuals, what they could actually learn from those stuffs. Then come to talk about our phones. I've also had situations where people sold their phones fairly used, and they thought they just deleted. They have deleted everything, and they didn't know that their stuffs are backed up in cloud. It's not everybody that will be smart to know that, okay, I can't just dabble into people's privacy. I've had situations where people bought fairly used phones, and the people thought they've just logged out, and sometimes your Google account or whatever, you just thought you formatted it, but by the time another person puts the same and is doing that, you will be shocked to know that the connection is still on automatically. Okay, and all the things that the person thought he has logged out of, all the photos, videos that are automatically in the cloud, is still tied to this old phone the person has sold. Ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you for free, as a cybersecurity technician, I've had situations where I need to practically help people to close out on their accounts, because the person that bought the phone, that bought the device, the iPad, is not knowledgeable to that level. I had to help them in logging out of those stuffs. And sometimes it's not actually very funny to see some images and footages. Sometimes couple could say, okay, let's just do it for fun. Is after all, it's just, yes, they are legally married, or whatever, they could say, let's just do it for fun. And that fun could later turn on to become a problem. So what is my advice? Before you sell any gadget that you know that has sensitive materials, please format it. Don't just delete it. Format your hard drive, format your flash drive. I know even with the formatting, there are still things that could be retraced. Okay, so but simply put, the average person wouldn't know what to do once it is formatted. So please format your flash, format your hard disk, format your memory card, format whatever that has that information, and please be double sure to make sure you log out of everything that your phone has, and go to your cloud and know what is backed up in your cloud, so that it doesn't give you that damaged stuff, or probably avoid whatever that will give you that stress. Okay, don't say, well, I'll do it later. You never can tell who will have access to that information. Okay, you never can tell who has access to that information that will leak it before you start doing damage control. My list is endless. It comes to me every day. Okay, I receive calls virtually every now and then on people that need this to be sorted out, this to be sorted out. You know, somebody will recommend. Some calls I get, I don't even know them. Somebody will recommend, this will recommend. So that is what happens. So I believe you've learned something from this. What you think, I believe this is going to be of help to somebody. Please share this video, and thank you very much for joining us on Tech Planet today. If you find this analysis useful, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe for more deep dives into technology, ethics, and real things happening in our world and digital world. Okay, let us know in the comment section what the lessons you learned out of this information, out of this scandal. Okay, and always keep exploring, stay informed, and let us use tech wisely. Please see you next time in another video. Thank you for coming. Don't forget to share and subscribe, and thank you very much for coming on Tech Planet today.